Iterables, like lists, can be filtered, combined, or used to repeat something indefinitely. This is the second video about Itertools, a Python module with many fast, memory-efficient iterator functions. Chain from iterable. We start off looking at adding iterables together. We looked at chain previously, and here we have an example where we have a list, a tuple, a set and a dictionary, and we use chain to put them together. You can see the output here. Now if we were to put all of these iterables together, let's say in a list, maybe we pass them to a function and we want to pass just the list rather than all of them together. Now if we want to do the same as chain but to a list, we can do chain dot from iterable. So now when we run this, you'll see we have the same output. T. In the T function from Itertools, instead of adding lists together, we can create the same list multiple times. So here we've got A to F in a list called lets, and we use Itertools.t with this list, and here we're going to create two separate lists called A and B, two separate iterables called A and B. So let's run that, and you can see we've got A to F, A to F. So we've got two separate iterables that are the same, or copies from our let's list. Now that was two copies. What we could do, we could add a third. So when we iterate over these iterables, we can see now we have three lists. We change them to lists from A to F. Group by. Here we have group by. We have a string we've called text, and when we use group by, we can create a key in the group, so similar to a dictionary, and then we can print the key and the group of items that match that key. So let's run this, and you can see we've got the A's, there's 3 A's, 2 B's, 4 C's, 3 D's, 2 E's and 2 F. So that's group by. Now we want to show you a slightly more complicated version, and here we've got the same code. We're going to use the text, but instead of using the group by itself, we've got a function. Now all the examples that we've seen use the lambda function. Now we haven't really covered lambda function yet, but perhaps if you want we can cover that in a video in the very near future. But let's have a look at this. We've got the same code, but instead of just printing the A, B, C, D, E and F and the lists, we've got this x dot upper. So we're going to change the x, we're going to change the value to an uppercase. So when we run that, you can see our first example, we've got A to F and the lists like the 3 A's up to the 2 F's. And in our second example, we've got the uppercase A, B, C, D, E, F. So the key has changed to uppercase. So that's an example with lambda. Now we've shown you that because we want to show you a bit of a more complicated example. So let's just comment them out for a minute. And we're starting off with an example where we've got some students and we've got some marks. Now we're just going to put those students and those marks into dictionaries which we append to a list. So we've got a list called scores, and then we're going to append the name and the grade from the student from the two lists. So if we print that, you can see we've got the name, the student name and their grade. So that's a list of dictionaries. Now what we want to do, we want to find all of the A's, all of the B's and all of the C's. Now let's see how we can use this group by in this example. So we've got the key and the group, we've got the Itertools group by, and here we've got the scores, which is the list of the dictionaries with the name and the grade we saw before. And again we're using this lambda function, and we're looking for the grade. We're going to group by the grade, and we're going to print the key and the list of the grouped values. So when we run that, you can see original list of name and grade dictionaries, but now in our group by we've got the group of A's, group of B's and the group of C's. Filterfalse. In the first video on Itertools, we used compress and islice, which were functions that filtered the iterables. So now we're moving on to other Itertools that filter. So the first example is filterfalse. So we want to take out any values in an iterable like a list that meet the function. So again we're going to use this lambda, and here we've got x is less than 5. So if we run this, we can see that it filters out everything that's less than 5, and then it prints what remains. So if we were to say x equals 2, so when we've got the value 2, it takes out 2. If we were to say x modulo 2, for example, now let's imagine we wanted to take out the odd numbers. We need to change that to 2 equal signs, and when we run that, you can see that we've taken out the odd numbers. If we change the 1 to a 0, so that would be the even numbers taken out, filtered out, and then remains our odd numbers from our list. So that's filterfalse. Dropwhile. Now something that works quite similar to filterfalse is dropwhile. So here we've got exactly the same code. We've got x is less than 5, and the only difference in the two pieces of code is filterfalse and dropwhile functions. But when we run that, you can see we've got 5 and 6, 5 and 6. So where x is less than 5, 1 to 4, it removes them, filters them out. So dropwhile will drop these numbers and continue on with the correct non-filtered values. Now there is a difference between the two. Before we had x modulo 2 equals 0. Now if we were to use that in dropwhile, you can see the difference. So we've got the same code again, filterfalse but dropwhile, and when we run that, you can see the filterfalse has taken out the even numbers, but dropwhile has actually printed all of the numbers. And that's because the dropwhile finds the first value that's not going to be dropped, and then it will continue with the rest of the values. So it drops up to a certain value. So let's just try it with modulo 2 equaling 1. We can see when we filter, we've got the even numbers, and the dropwhile, it's dropped the 1, But as soon as it's found a value that doesn't meet this condition, yeah, it's not an odd number, then it will print the rest. Takewhile. Dropwhile, with the numbers that are less than x is less than 5, so numbers 1 to 4, it's dropped them and printed 5 and 6. Now the opposite of that is to take the numbers 1 to 4 and then drop the numbers after. So if we had, for example, x is less than 4, we would drop the 1, 2, 3 and get 4, 5, 6, or keep the 1, 2, 3 and drop the 4, 5, 6. So the takewhile, if you like, is the opposite of dropwhile. Combinations with replacements. We looked at product and combinations in the last video on Itertools, and when we run the program we can see the product gives us the Cartesian product, all of the possible pairs of A and B and C. Now combinations, the opposite. We have the pairs A and B, A and C, B and C, so it's limited to just the combinations. Now an alternative to combinations is combinations with replacements. So when we run this we can see we've got our product and now we've got our combinations, but combinations with replacements now has AA, AB, AC, BB, BC, CC. Permutations. Now also in Itertools we can have permutations. So let's print, and we can see we have our product, we have our combinations with replacements, and our permutation shows us the permutations of A, B and C. So these are the three letters but in different orders, if you like. So they are the permutations. Cycle. Now some tools can iterate indefinitely, like cycle. When we run this for loop it will cycle through the letters, but it will continue forever until we stop it. So that's not really a good idea in programming. So we can create the same code, but here we're going to include a count, and when we get to 10 we'll break out of the loop. Let's run this, and now we can see we cycle through the letters A, B, C, D, E, F, and we cycle through them to amount of 10 times. If we change that to say 12 times, then we would see each letter twice. A to F, A to F. Star map. Here we've got star map. We've got a list of tuples with 2 integers in each, and we're going to use starmap to apply a function that adds a number and a function that multiplies the numbers. So when we run it we can see when we add the numbers we have 5, 6, 7, and when we multiply them we have 6, 8, 6. Now for the exercises. In this exercise, your task is to name the 5 functions. We have 2 functions applied on this list of numbers 1, 2, 3. You have to fill in the blanks. Now we change numbers to 1 to 6, and then we have the same code for 3 functions, and you have to name which 3 they are. We run the 5 functions and we can see the output. We have 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. The second function, similar but different, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 3, 2. And the final 3 functions, we go from 3 to 6, just 3, and 1 to 2. A quick reminder of the code for the 5 functions. The first 2 we just apply the function on the numbers 1, 2, 3, and the number 3, 4 and 5 functions, we've got this lambda x not equal to 3 applied on numbers 1 to 6. And the solution to the quiz, we have the answers, the functions in order were combinations with replacements and permutations, dropwhile, filterfalse and takewhile. So when they printed combinations with replacements first, then permutations, and we had dropwhile, filterfalse and takewhile. Well, we enjoyed that video. If you did, please click the like, and we're going to follow up with some similar videos. If you want to know when they're going to be released, then please subscribe and click on the notification bell.